Hello and welcome to Science with Mr Spowage. Today we're going to be looking at dissolving, and we're going to be looking at what substances dissolve in water, and we're going to be mapping that out on a special type of diagram called a Carroll diagram. Now, a Carroll diagram is a really easy way to be able to analyse data that you're getting. So if you want to take part in this experiment at home, you're just going to need a few basic kitchen ingredients and a glass of water. Now, just be aware that you might want to have an adult supervise you, so that you can just make sure this is done safely. And you're also going to need a piece of paper and a pencil. So we're going to create our Carroll diagram, which is a type of diagram designed by Lewis Carroll, which can be used to group things in a certain way. And in this one, we're going to analyse whether something dissolves or does not dissolve, and whether it colours the water or does not colour the water. So we're going to set up this table so that we're able to write down our results. So here we've got our dissolves, and this is our does not dissolve column. And then we're going to compare that against whether it colours the water or whether it does not colour the water. And then we're able to use this diagram to put things into the right place. We'll come back to this later. So the ingredients we decided to use for this experiment were coffee and sugar. We also used bicarbonate of soda, which is used a lot in baking. Rory's choice was paprika. We also wanted to test tea leaves, and we've also got some plain flour. I also had a bonus helper in this video with Millie.
Okay.
She was very happy to take part. So we set up our glasses and we labelled each one so we remembered which each one was. And then we filled them up with some warm water so that things dissolved a little bit quicker.
So, just before we start, Rory, which of those different things do you think are going to dissolve in the water? Do you think the coffee will dissolve? No, okay, interesting. Do you think the sugar will dissolve?
Yes.
Okay, do you think the bicarbonate of soda will dissolve? That fine white powder?
No.
No? Okay. Do you think the tea leaves are going to dissolve? No. What about the paprika? Do you think that might dissolve?
Not really.
Okay, and do you think the flour will dissolve?
No.
Okay, interesting. Let's find out.
So after making our predictions, we started setting about to find our results, and we started to mix each of the different substances in with the water. Now, to make sure that we didn't contaminate any of them, we made sure we used a different spoon for each sample. So Rory noticed that in some of these experiments, you could still see little particles floating around. So we left them on the side for a little while, just to let them settle and to see if anything changed.
Okay, so we're going to have a look at the results, and I've got my little helper here, Mr Spowage, to help me as well. So the first one we're going to look at is the sugar. So have a look at this one then, Rory. What do you notice? Has it dissolved?
Yes, because it hasn't coloured the water. You can't see any of it now.
You can't see any of it, can you? So that one's definitely dissolved. So the sugar has dissolved and not coloured the water. Let's have a look at the bicarbonate of soda. So Rory, did this one dissolve or not?
No.
No, it hasn't, has it? What's happened to it?
It's all of the...
Yeah, all the bicarbonate of the soda. Where is it going?
It sank to the bottom.
Yeah, it's sort of...
kind of coloured the water.
It kind of coloured, but actually it's more a suspension. It's just held it in amongst the water, and it's just slowly sinking, so it hasn't dissolved. So, what about the freeze-dried coffee, Rory? Has this one dissolved? Can you see any of the... Well, can you see any of the little any of the granules?
No, we
in
can't,
there?
but it has coloured the water.
So, it has dissolved, but it's also coloured the water. Okay? Let's have a look at the flour. So, has the flour dissolved, Rory?
No, it sank to the bottom.
It sank to the bottom, but you noticed earlier that it's kind of a white liquid. Now, do you think that white liquid would still be white tomorrow or not? What do you think?
I think it's going to stay at the bottom.
Oh, you think it's going to sink? Yay, you're right. Over time, all of that flour is going to settle at the bottom and become something called a sediment. It's going to just sit at the bottom. Let's look at the tea leaves. Did they dissolve? No, they didn't, did they? But did they start to colour the water?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. They've got a special thing in them called tannins. And as the tannins are released, it colours the water, which is why tea colours the water. Okay, but you're quite right. They're not dissolving. And the final one then, Riri, you asked for this one, the paprika. Did the paprika dissolve?
No.
No, it didn't, but it did colour the water. It did. It made it this orangey brown colour, didn't it? Okay, but you're right, it didn't dissolve.
So it's time to add the results into our Carroll diagram, and we will start with the sugar. And now we know the sugar dissolves and it didn't colour the water, so it goes into this section down here. Next, the bicarbonate of soda. We know that did not dissolve and it didn't colour the water, so it goes into this section here. Then we had the coffee. The coffee did dissolve and it coloured the water, so it goes here. Next, the flour. The flour did not dissolve and it also did not colour the water after a while. The tea leaves, they didn't dissolve either and they did colour the water because of those tannins. And finally, the paprika also did not dissolve and it coloured the water. So, as you can see, this is the start of an experiment to be able to map out some of our results. And you might want to take this further by finding some other things that either dissolve or colour the water and being able to add them into your Carroll diagram. I'd love to know some of your results, so if you want to send any pictures to our year group email, then feel free. If not, I'll see you next time. Bye for now.